What happened to just doing stuff? 2 years ago, I uploaded a video called Being a Boring Person. In it, I explained that I have less than exciting hobbies. I don't like parties or staying up too late, and a typical Friday night for me usually involves a cup of tea, a good book, and sometimes a video game. It looks like I don't do a lot, but in fact, I do a lot of stuff because I like doing a lot of stuff. I like to read, I like to draw, I like photography, I'm getting into videography, I like hiking, I like running, I like tech, I'm learning about coding and cybersecurity. And to top it all off, I like fishing. You can stack all of these under the category of hobbies. The Oxford Dictionary defines a hobby as an activity done regularly in one's leisure time for pleasure. Those last two words are kind of important. For pleasure. Why am I saying this? Because I'm getting the feeling that in this day and age, having hobbies as a means of recreation is seen as nothing more than a waste of fucking time. When I first started my podcast, it was purely for fun. But then as the episodes stacked up, I realized that I let it turn from something fun into just another form of work. And this also bled out to many of the other things that I'd usually do for fun. Everything I did had to have some kind of end goal, some other purpose beyond just for fun. And this took the joy out of everything I did. I can't just draw for fun, I gotta be an artist. I can't just take pictures I like, I gotta build a portfolio. I did all of these things without asking myself one very important question. But do you? So it's nearly 5 o'clock, and I decided, you know what, if I'm not gonna try to spend most of my day inside. I'm thinking, alright, head outside, do some fishing, and if I don't catch anything, I can still go for a swim. So, both are equally good options in my opinion. When I got back into fishing a few years ago, I made it a point that no matter what happens, I'll go fishing once a week. It didn't matter if I caught a few bait fish or a bucket full of fuck all. Whatever happens, I'm going fishing. When I told some of my colleagues that, they mostly responded with, well, what's the point then? And I remember saying that there is no point. I just like it. And that's where it clicked. There's a quote by American philosopher Henry David Thoreau that I particularly like. Many men go fishing all their lives without knowing that it is not fish they are after. Now you're probably asking, Stan, what do the words of some hermit have to do with doing stuff? Well, I'll tell you, random citizen. One of the biggest mistakes that I've done and see people doing is chasing some kind of external goal, as if the thing they are doing is just a means to an end. I want to get this many followers. I want to make a living of what I'm doing. I want to be remembered as the best at this one thing. All honorable, and yet all so superficial. I find that it's kind of like looking at the sea. I mean, you can see the waves, but you can't exactly see what's underneath them. We are, not always, but oftentimes in the pursuit of something more fundamental, be it some form of temporary peace from the chaos of life or a sense of purpose that might give you some direction. What I'm trying to get at is that with this grind mindset that's been shoved down our throats over the last few years, came this generational obsession with results, spending too much time and effort fixating on the goal rather than the process of actually getting there. Creating a space for yourself where you can be terrible at something but still have fun doing it. Isn't that the whole point of hobbies in general? To get back to the quote, no, I don't catch a lot of fish, but I still enjoy fishing because the simple process of fishing, whether it be on shore, offshore, brings me a certain kind of peace that I rarely get in everyday life. And that to me is more important than any catch. I feel this also ties into creative aspirations. How many people go on and write songs on a whim, and then go down a rabbit hole of followers or getting noticed by some kind of label? I used to do the same with my art. I can remember a time where I would draw and paint for the simple reason of it being fun. I never really had a goal in mind, just mindless doodles to pass the time at a boring post at work, or just getting something blotted down on a page. There was never this external pressure like a proverbial sword of Damocles hanging over my head to do well or be good, because being good has so many definitions. But the one that we seem to cling to the most is being so good that you have to make a living off of it, as if that's the ultimate proof we're worth something to the world around us. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, there are people out there whose literal job it is to be creative. Music producers, character artists, animators, even writers. But what do all of these pursuits have in common? They nearly all began from a place of fun, for the simple but powerful reason of play. But in the age of Instagram and YouTube, it can be so stupidly easy to compare ourselves to those who have made their passion their living. I think that's when joy becomes obsession. And obsession becomes the foundation of our own torment. I think creatives in general are a sensitive bunch. We sometimes feel too deeply, while oftentimes being our own worst critics. That, combined with an obsession for results, ultimately takes away the joy of creating in the first place. When you were a kid, I bet you my bottom dollar that you used to draw basically every day. You didn't think of becoming an artist. You never thought of mastering perspective to make your drawings better. You did it because it was fun. And is that really a crime? In this age where we have 1,000 eyes watching us, is it really that bad to do the things we enjoy, even if we're not particularly good at it yet? In his book, The Creative Act, legendary producer Rick Rubin said it best. In terms of priority, inspiration comes first, you come next, the audience comes last. Don't do things under the gaze of eyes you can't even see. Just do what you can with what you have, and have fun doing it. Maybe that's all creativity should be. A quiet conversation between you and the thing that you love. The stage is set. The world is watching, waiting to see what you have to offer. You've seen the posts, and the numbers don't lie. If your hobbies don't contribute to your bank account, they mean nothing. And if you're not making something for others to watch, then you mean nothing. What a load of horseshit. Isn't that the whole point of hobbies to begin with? To take our minds away from the bread and butter of this shit sandwich we call life. When you paint because you just want to see how two colors mix. When you make music because you like the sound of a certain synth. None of these things should be seen as a waste of time. That's just you being happy. That's just you forgetting your made-up responsibilities and reminding yourself that you are, in fact, a human being. Not some cog in a giant machine producing mediocre slop to be consumed and consumed by brain-dead masses. All that matters is that you're doing something that you love. Doing the best you can with your ability, here and now. Not because of the chance of someone or an audience liking it. Not because you want to be the best. It's because you just want to. You know, without the pressure of future results. There's a line from Ulysses that says it better than I ever will. Hold to the now, the here, through which all future plunges into the past. Do the stuff that makes you happy. Do the stuff that challenges you and makes you grow. Do stuff for the sake of just doing stuff.